Yeah, Vin, 45 clients. It's based upon efficiency and actually that being your job. So with 45 clients in a system process, Vin, I'll just get to it because obviously you know where that can go in terms of the compliments of it, right? So 45 clients, I'm going to talk about it in an individual on-site area first, okay? Because remote, it creates difference. So for 45 clients, you're probably meeting with them 30 to 60 minutes once a month, right? This is after they're in the system and we're working well and you're still devising programs. And for those 45 clients, you put them into areas throughout the day relative to the gym that you're in which they're going to come and do their program that you're not personal training on. You've given it to them through Fitbot, but you're going to be there on those hours to just watch those people work out. So in terms of math for 45 clients, generally a 5-hour block opening time per day as an example, Monday to Friday and 4 hours on Saturday, can more than handle what you need for 45 clients for their training hours, right? And don't ask me questions around what happens if you want to go at 1 p.m. I'm just trying to give you context to that. So I just said to you that if it's 45 max, let's say 45 hours per month max, that means you're looking at 11 hours per week for that client for consultations. Most times it's not, right? For each person as an example. And you're looking at 25 hours of floor time that you'll be there with those clients. Then you're then getting to see 45 clients plus that and the hours that are derived around it, plus program design. You're into a 50-plus hour work week with 45 clients, focusing only on program design, information, feedback back and forth, and then being on the floor hours. If this is in an online format, obviously the floor hours matter not. So you're taking away 20-plus hours of floor time, but the communication and feedback back and forth with the clients is still high enough. For program design, Vin, if it's because you're asking the question, most times that's what CCP helps you with, is efficiency of program design, because program design seems super complex for a lot of people, and it's generally because we have 6,000 ideas up here, but we can't put 5 of them in place, which is the most important things for the client. And that's why we get stuck with working with one client and having to take 3 hours to write 2 workouts in that week for that one client. And so what I teach you is efficiency, not to lose quality, but to create efficiency in giving them the best thing at the right time based upon the systems that I teach within CCP. So, Vin, that was a short answer, and there's a lot of in-betweens on that, but I hope I cleared a little bit on it, okay? Jonathan asked, how much time do your coaches spend on the floor coaching? At OPEX HQ, they can be anywhere from 6 to 15 hours on the floor time. And that varies relative to who they are in place. Some of our OPEX gyms have varied, based upon that. If you're a gym and you're opening up, you have 0 clients, you have 0 coaches, then all the floor hours are on you. But that's also reality in terms of opening up an OPEX gym if you wish to, with that education that's in mind to back it up. And Jonathan, we appreciate the question. That's really important that we're, asking all OPEX gyms and OPEX coaches to do as well, is to ensure that they're in the trenches working with folks. And that's something you won't get if you work online, which is not a right or wrong, but let's just see it, right? Pricing for the course and maybe different methods on payment other than upfront. Yeah. John, I'm going to ask you to email Megan, meghan@opexfit.com, because it may vary relative to what you're interested in, okay? $15 coaches. Oh, Vin, that's remote online clients. That's remote online clients, as an example, a remote coaching program. Sorry, Mr. Smith, any tips on managing clients that quit after months being unmotivated, lack of results due to not coming to the gym, personal sessions, what I'm saying, Mr. Smith, is that most of those things are cleaned up by learning ideas on behavior and relationship management. Most times that shit doesn't happen in an OPEX gym or with a coach, meaning that the alignment doesn't even work, where they're like, listen, this is not going to work, we're not going to do this, because your alignment is incorrect from what you're saying you want to do and your actual reality in doing it. And then secondly, Mr. Smith, most have incorrect business processes set up. So if you have a business process set up, it's like, yeah, let's just start this thing and get going and start exercising. Guess what you're going to happen after a month? you're going to have unmotivated people, no results, not coming to the gym. You know why? Because you didn't sit down and ask them questions around, like, why are you doing any of this? You know, let's think about that. So most of that stuff is cleared up based upon it, okay? Yeah, Thiago, they're all individualized programs, no templates. Yep, and if it's over 60 clients, it is hard work, but it's efficient over time. And most questions that come based upon how to handle all those clients are generally due to the answer I said above. Most people give way too much that's required for the client to move them from 0 to 2, and coaches have way too much shit in their head that doesn't allow them to be efficient in program design to hit the biggest things the best possible to get the best results. And, Thiago, just to back up to my point, if a coach, quote unquote, has 60 plus clients, how do I measure that? So how do we determine what is good and what is not good? You measure it based upon retention. So if a coach has a lot of clients, but they're not performing and they're not getting results, guess what will happen? They'll lose clients. But our retention numbers speak for itself. So if you start losing clients because, quote unquote, Thiago, in your idea, you can't handle that number of clients and you're templating, then you'll lose clients. So that would be results that idea doesn't work. But we have coaches who can handle that. Why? Because it actually does work if you do it efficiently with the right technology, with the right education. I hope that makes sense. Start individual planning, suggesting bulk of the gym individual planning. Ed asked the question, group classes right now have asked 8 to 10 members they want to start individual plan. What do you suggest we do to move the bulk of the gym to individual planning? If you want to move, real simple answer, Ed, don't do both. Don't do hybrid. It's just my simple answer now. Because this is public, we only have 8 minutes and really it's too complex. Don't do both. So move everyone over and do ID design, or stick with group and just roll that system to make everyone as happy as possible, okay? Okay. How often is the intake for level 1? Sean Murray, do you mean by intake? Well, I can only answer your question again because I can't see in the chat. Like repetitive testing, repetitive, check with people again. If that's the case, as you start developing a relationship with someone in their gym, you're going to meet with them more frequently up front and then less frequently over time. So every week to every couple of weeks up front to get all the pieces in place. For assessment, it's based upon their training age and their adaptation speed and what we need to work on. And we teach that in CCP, meaning that for layman's terms, someone who's a beginner, you're going to test them more often because their scale of improved adaptation is high. So they want to see that as well as important to look at. Intermediate, less often. Advanced, less often. But you still want to create a construct as to what your system looks like to help you for that. I think it may have answered, Sean, if not. Joe, yes, it can only be merged with a physical therapy center if the physical therapist and the OPEX coach has the same ideas in mind, and you have to create a parallel system of development of how all your clients will work together. Because in a lot of cases, if it's not complementary, it won't work, and everyone has to be under the same idea. So it's not about sharing clients, it's about, you guys got to develop a life cycle and say, number one, if I'm doing fitness, what the hell am I people needing physical therapy for if they're doing fitness, right? I know that sounds funny. It's like, yeah, that's a good point, right? Why do they need to have therapy if they're just going through fitness? Secondly, if they're getting injured and that person, the physical therapist, is in the life cycle where they're beforehand getting them, and they can move them into a functional position where you can take them, I think that's a great idea, right? That's a great idea as complementary. So, Joe, I'd see it as a big, long tube where you would have a physical therapist, front-end people they may be pulling in, and during the nurturing process with the therapist, they may be moving them into a post-rehabilitative, more functional setting, right? Where they're in like level 1, level 2, level 3 area now, and you can take them and never get them to come back to the physical therapy center again. That may be a good complementary piece from that. But yeah, it can work. Yes, you can, Sasha, all the way from Germany. Okay, what if all those questions are established, 6% of clients, approximately 20 get the results, that too low of a ratio? Yeah. Yeah, that is too low of a ratio. Mr. Smith, you need to have a higher percentage of that. and you need to go back and look at what it's going to be for, your entry to the program, and ensure you set up a better consultation process. Oh, sorry, to do the course. How often is to do the course. Every couple of months, Sean, we have a new cohort. The next one is October. Maybe I'll see you there. Okay. I think that's it. Ooh, Tiago, you got me. I got a few more minutes. What about specific group classes? Would it be better or worse than one general group class, maybe a functional bodybuilding class, functional class? Nope. Don't do it. Tiago, when you start, let me just say this, Tiago, when you start recognizing that more about each person, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in your heart, it will really hurt to go back and try to do anything that spreads across a group in a room. Let me say this again for the 6,000th time. It doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? There's no judgment of it. It just will not work long term for the coach and the client and the owner. It may work for the owner, it may work for the client just to get their fix, but it will not work for the coach. Why? Because you know better now. You're like, I've seen your scratch test, I've seen your air squat, yet there's push press times 3 and a bunch of other overhead stuff on the board today, and I can't possibly scale that just for you. Now it's 19 others that you have to scale in multiple different options then based upon what's on the group. So call it what you want, functional bodybuilding, fitness class, whatever. You're going to have to, down the road, make it individualized. It's not right or wrong. That's just the way it is if you know more. But it doesn't make it wrong or judgmental if you do know that, yet you're just not offering it as an individual line. That's all good, man. It's all good. If people are not getting hurt and they're moving forward, I'm happy. It's just tough to do that. Yeah, no, I look forward to seeing you too, bud. I'm a Fisher CrossFit. I want to change my business, worried about pricing because it'll be higher. Yeah, well, Boris, we can also help you with that in terms of how to properly align willingness to pay your client acquisition costs. And actually, when we put it on paper and we get Jim Kroll to excel the death out of you, you'll start to recognize that that's a pretty simple alignment. Sorry to make it quick, but we can certainly help you with that, Boris. Okay. Memdu, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Great to hear from you as well. No, Tino, it's fine. If you listen to me, you'll have it good to go, okay? Alrighty, thanks folks. I gotta go on to our next call, but thanks for being here.